Hi, hi, hi.
guys. Hey.
How you doing? So my name is Iyke and she is.
Florence Nkechinyere
Ah,
Waleke Nkechuku.
you done? Okay. And this is our home front.
And we're married. Today's topic is more like a rhetorical question. Like it's like a question that we don't need answer, but we need answer. I don't know if you're understanding me. I hope you're. So today's topic is
Why don't we say how we truly feel?
Yeah. And that's a valid question.
Yeah, it is. It's a very valid question because we talked about it one time. I mean, the last episode we did was about communication, have we?
One of the last episodes.
Yeah, one of the last episodes we did was about
talked about listening.
Yes, it was about
listening to your spouse.
And
so I think still leaning on communication, which is the main, major topic. Listening, expressing yourself, all just comes under communication. So based on that same topic, the subtopic of expressing yourself, I think by implication that's what we just said.
Yes.
Why is it so difficult for us to truly express ourselves? And I'm not talking grammar. We're not talking grammar, are we?
No, we're not. Somebody came on our timeline and said something, and she talked about why don't men actually communicate how they truly feel, and it kind of gave birth to this particular topic. So, as a man, we are born into a world, a society, a culture that does not really not really teach us how to express ourselves emotionally. Because
I have a question.
Okay.
Is there anything specifically growing up that you can say, okay, this is exactly what my parents did, or this is how the society helped to make me feel like I can't express myself freely as I should? Was there any particular thing that you can put your hand to and say, oh, this was the point where things just changed, if you can remember?
I think it's parenting. Okay, for me, let me say for me, yeah. For me, it's the way I saw my father. I saw all the male influences in my life. My father, my uncles. Let me say it this way. Let me use that as an example. Sorry. When somebody dies, in the house, maybe we lost someone and all that, you see my mother or my aunties cry, but my father and my uncles, they don't. So instantly you feel, okay, I shouldn't.
Maybe it's not right for me to do
Maybe it's not right for me. And when you fall down, maybe you fall and you hit your head and you hit your leg or something, and there's this thing they always tell us then, you're a man now. Are you not a man? Yeah. So over time, it happens to you, and it enters your subconsciousness. You feel like, okay, maybe I shouldn't cry. Maybe I shouldn't show pain. Because as you are seeing the men bottle up, you are seeing the women wailing. So the women are wailing on our behalf. So somehow you just feel, okay, let me just hold it in. And you need to be strong for them as well. That whole seeing my father console my mother, or see my uncles, my stand up and be the man strong. Because if you fall, who will they turn to? So somehow it kind of seeped in, and like I said, for me, it seeped in. And okay, I remember one time when I lost my older one, my brother. I was downstairs, and my older brother came down. My older brother came downstairs to tell me about it. And when I dropped on the car, when he told me about it, and I was overwhelmed with pain and grief and all that. So I fell. So he picked me up and just told me that, guy, please don't do that. If you go down, I will go down with you. He more or less told me to be strong, and I had to be strong.
Why do we equate strength to dry eyes?
Right.
Eh?
Yeah.
Yes, like not crying. you know, like, do you then feel, I'm sure you must have cried later. Do you then feel weak when you cry? Do you feel weak when you express yourself?
Yeah, it comes off that way. You attribute instantly, I mean, or rather subconsciously, you attribute crying to weakness. It happens over time. You attribute crying to weakness. I mean, showing how you feel emotionally, you're weak. Emotionally, a man's supposed to be strong, you know? And okay, like going back to that same story. And when I told my friend, my female friend, and I told her, one of my friends, I told her, and she said, I don't want you will cry when they are burying him, when they are pouring the sand in, you will cry. And I took it upon myself not to. I would like that. You know, because to her, to me, in my mind, I was like, oh, this girl is trying to make me,
It wants to break you.
and I need to be strong. And I didn't. And it affected me as years went by. I realized because it affected my acting. When I needed to show vulnerability, I couldn't because there was this block in my head that I had created over time. And I had to now cure myself. This happened over 10 years. I couldn't really cry on camera because of that blockage. But I had to now go to grief and, I mean, seek some therapy. And I eventually had to confront it and I cried.
Trust Igbo man now. Has to take money for you to cry. Nah, man.
I had to cry. Oh.
No, but we've just been talking about crying. Crying.
Yeah.
Expressing yourself I think, is more than just tears. It's also allowing yourself to be vulnerable, even in articulating how you feel. For example, I don't know if you remember, but for the first 2 years of our marriage, even our relationship when we're dating, I mean, a lot of girls, I'm sure you can relate. You meet that guy, you feel like, this one is too good to be true. Let's test him. We do it. So I got it in my head that I needed to test. In fact, the reason we started dating was because I tested him. I joked. I didn't lie. I joked about, my mom hooking me up with some guy in Australia and I would have to relocate and all of that.
There's a thin line between lying and joking. I don't know where.
Yes, that's what I taught my children. I said, no, mommy's not lying, mommy's joking. So I joked about a guy being in Australia that my mom wants me to hook up with, and I'll be going in the next few weeks, and that was when he realized that he needed to articulate how he felt about me. So, I mean, coming from that, I felt, okay, maybe this is the only way I can get this man to actually tell me how he feels, right? So, months go by, and one of those days that I give those tests, I do. And then when I tell him, oh, I was just testing you, he will just do this. He will. If you are you, what do you would think? I was scared though. I said, hey, this kind of guy where you would tell something like this and you just do. I had to run for my dear life because it was giving, I will show you Shege Banza when we are married.
Like all those serial killers kind of thing.
Yes, now it was too sinister for me to stay.
That's me now.
He almost lost this gorgeousness. But, as God will have it, he became more open and more expressive, and we're still working on it because even 2 years into the marriage, shaky daddy happened again. But, it's still work in progress. Even for me, sometimes we just take for granted that, oh, okay, it's the man that has to express himself, the man has to express. Even as women, we struggle sometimes to tell our spouses how we truly feel, maybe as a result of past relationships, past experiences. It might not even be boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, it might even be relationship with your father, your mother, your siblings. It just makes you just bottle things up inside. Yeah, I mean, we had some issue with me as well in our second year of marriage. You know how we women sometimes, you just play out a scenario in your head. I am sure I can't be the only woman that happens to. On your birthday, you're thinking, my husband will wow me. He'll wake me up with some nice breakfast in bed, and then he'll take the kids away, and then he'll make the meal. He would do this, he would do that, goes. And then social media doesn't help, because you see other women and how they claim that their spouses are taking care of them, and then you get it in your head that my husband will do this, he will do bars, he will do bows. And then on that day, he just wakes up and he just gives you a peck and says, okay, baby, I'll see you later. Or maybe by 12 a.m. you woke up and just said, hey, happy birthday, baby, happy birthday. But break of dawn like this, uncle is out of the house. And you're thinking, where's my breakfast in bed? Where are all those things that I wanted? But those things are things that you would have told him that you wanted. Because not all men are, how do I put it? Mind readers.
It also happens to women as well.
Okay.
This same scenario, this same picture you just created, where the man would think that his wife would come in and prepare this lunch and prepare that one for him, and maybe it's his birthday as well. He has seen this picture, my wife's going to spoil me, my wife's going to do this and that, and it doesn't work out that way.
What do you do when it doesn't work out?
You talk. I think you should always express how you feel, because like she said, I'm not a magician, yeah, and I love the word you use, mind reader. Mm-hmm. I wasn't. Let's not forget that we're coming from two different worlds.
Yeah.
A friend of mine told me about how when they were dating, and how it was different from when they said I do. How the guy used to wow her and all that during dating period, and when they said I do, when they got into marriage, it changed. And it happens. It happened.
Why? Yeah, it did happen with us. It happened with us.
Yeah, because so many things change.
Especially for the men.
Well, yeah. How does it change? Okay, let me speak for myself. Somehow, yeah, you have to remind yourself that your wife is still your babe. We just have this idea that I don't get her. The wooing,
make any effort anymore.
The wooing has ended. I'm speaking for men. You have to remind yourself. You have to remind yourself that the game is still on. Okay, might not be game, but once in a while, just do one or two things for her, because what I've come to understand is that love keeps growing. There's no point that you get to you say, okay, I don't love this man enough. No, there's always different levels to it. And we just, when we get to that point, we need to remind ourselves, come on, I can still wow this woman. Automatically we just feel, the job is done now. Why do I need to, but you need to all those small things, And on the flip side too, the women should also not, like she rightly said, see this grandeur picture. It might be grandeur to us, but to heights.
It's a normal gesture.
Yeah, because social media is not helping at all. We only put out things that are nice. We don't put out the other part on social media. So we only grab the things that are nice. This one is doing that, this one is doing that, and we're going to compare. Naturally, you'll be happy with your husband coming home at night, spending time with your own kids. But when you see some things outside, you begin to compare.
Maybe. I would like to use a lot of we women, we fall prey. You were talking about still showing affection. Well, not showing affection, but still treating your wife like she's your babe. You're still dating. And I can't help but think about when I decided to start growing plants. I think recently we talked about it. And I was saying how do I put that word now? How...
Can't help you here. I don't know where you're going to.
Oh, what's that English?
English.
Okay, how similar. How similar it is. Okay, so I went to... I got carried away.
Similar in the driving buses.
Yeah, it didn't happen. Okay, it didn't happen. It never happened to you. For example, you just didn't think D. How do you spell D?
I don't want to do my toe. T-O.
It happens. I think it's like brain freeze or
Yes,
something.
yes, yes.
But my brain was not frozen. I was wanted
It's
to
okay,
test
it's
if
okay, it's
he was
okay.
listening.
Similar,
I wanted to
similar.
test his listening capacity.
It's not.
Make you proud. Okay, so as I was saying, I years back, I think 2 3 years ago, I decided I wanted to start, growing plants in my house. The first few plants that I bought, they died tragically out of neglect. I neglected them. I just felt, I don't buy the plants, I beg. If rain they fall, rain water will touch them from the rain. They will get sunlight somehow, you know. But they didn't, and they all died. But I realized that I bought another patch. I bought another batch. It took me like 2 years after. And by those 2 years, I started learning more about gardening. I put myself out there. I started studying plants and all of that. Story for another day. But right now, I have plants that sometimes I just go in and I look at them. My kids, sometimes I say, I'm coming, let me go see my babies. And they're wondering, Mommy, which babies? But, I have my plants. And because of the attention I pay to them, so I just go to the balcony just to look at them. And they're doing well. Some of them have not even wet in 2 days. But they're doing well. Because I feel somehow, it might sound weird, it might sound bizarre, but I think on some level they understand, they feel my attention. And I think it's the same thing with we women. See, when you want to have a peaceful and a happy marriage,